You are listening to The Michael Lodge Show. Wealth, business, and taxes. Oh, yeah, and some politics. Let's get started.
And how are you this bright and cheery day? Not so bright and cheery here in Palm Beach, I'm afraid. Cloudy, cloudy, cloudy. Maybe some rain. Not quite sure. But listen, we've had an interesting week, haven't we? This whole week, I look on it, and as it's passed, I'm thinking, my gosh, what did we just live through? Life is funny, isn't it? I mean, this whole world that we're living in at the moment is, I'm looking at it as we live it every single day and look at everything that comes up and all the discussions that are held and all of the things that go on in the media and in our personal lives and everything. It's crazy. I think the best word for it is just crazy. Say, I wanted to talk just a little bit about this isn't going to take very long. So if you have a cup of coffee, sit back, drink your cup of coffee. Just a second, I'm going to take a sip of mine. Very good stuff, isn't it, that coffee? Thank God there's coffee in the morning. But I just want to take just a little bit of thinking, common sense thinking, about these lockdowns. France just went into lockdown. Other countries are going into lockdown. And if they haven't seen the damage that lockdowns do to communities, into a nation, into businesses, into jobs, going to church, not being able to go to church, there is real damage there. There's a lot of mental illness that gets heightened with these patients. There are people who are thinking or have done the committing of suicides. Police activity becomes stronger because they're having to respond to domestic violence in the house. I mean, the list goes on. It does so much damage to individuals of a country. And when these people put your lives at risk by locking you down. Listen, locking people down has not stopped this virus. Nothing is going to stop this virus. We can avoid it. And we all know how to do that. My gosh, how many times do we see every single day, and we're reminded every single day from the CDC of what we should do? Wash our hands, be clean, social distancing, wear a mask. I mean, we know what the rules are. Now, I want to tell you that Americans are very adaptable. You know, we may complain, we may moan and groan and everything, but we're adaptable. We are adaptable in what we do in our lives. Based upon the circumstances in our lives, we're adaptable. And we keep moving forward. The lockdowns that we had in the United States did so much damage that it has literally destroyed companies, businesses, people's jobs, everything. Health care that you couldn't get to because you couldn't go unless you were tested. I mean, it was a whole bunch of things that really destroyed our nation because governors, the word key there is governor, lock down your state, lock down your community. Now, one of the things that we have to look at very carefully, LinkedIn came out with a study that they've been doing during this whole lockdown period, this COVID period. And they have found that worker confidence has grown. And it's grown because people have learned to adapt. They know that they can do their job no matter where they're at. They've got a computer, they've got a laptop, they've got everything except Joe Biden's son. Hunter seems to be losing his laptops all over the place. I don't know why. Did you realize that today they announced that there's a second laptop that was gotten from Joe Biden? I mean, not Joe Biden, but Hunter Biden. Because they did a drug enforcement raid on a house and they found another laptop. So there's 2 laptops right now in the FBI's possession. But I digress. But we have, as workers, as business owners, as employees, as people trying to do their job, have learned that they have confidence that they can now do their work anywhere that they want to be. They have confidence in their companies. As you can see, our GDP went up by 33%. There is confidence there. Confidence in companies, confidence in the employees that are working for these companies. If an employee, or you and I as workers, if we know that we can do our work any place, and we can do it even better than we've done it before, we have the communication devices available to us, we can keep moving forward. We don't need to be locked down. People are going back to their offices. They're living within the constraints of the CDC guidelines. We're just living with it. That's what we do as Americans. We live with it. But we keep focusing on what we do best. So, when I see these lockdowns and the damage that they have become to nations, not just America, but to nations, it's very disappointing that people will say, oh, it's science. No, it's not science. Let me tell you something. We should listen to the experts such as doctors, engineers that build bridges, accountants that know their tax work. We should listen to experts. Yes, I believe in that. But when an expert decides to predict, there's no way in hell that anybody knows what's going to happen in the future. If you look at what happened way long time ago, the British experts over there said, if it's heavier than air, it will not fly. Well, that's been proven wrong. And we have all these experts that keep saying the global warming is going to kill us in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, whatever it is. No one can predict what the future brings because things change in this world. The environment changes weekly, daily. No one can predict the future. So when it comes to political polls, no one can predict what's going to happen. 2016, they were wrong. Now, in 2020, they're wrong again. The polls and the numbers and the analysis of the polls and how they get to that, the models that they form, or even on COVID, all the models that they formed around COVID and predicted and how politicians use those models to make their decisions were wrong. In America, they said there were over 2 million people were going to die. Not even close to 2 million. But they based it upon models of all of these universities out there. Models cannot predict the future. It cannot predict what's going to happen. Models are flawed, and they're flawed, and polls are flawed because they are trying to get to a point where the model supports their view. Now, what is actually going to happen, but that supports their view? So polls support the candidate that they want to win. Models for COVID predicts what those so-called scientists want to predict, or politicians want to predict. There's no science about forecasting the future because no one knows what's going to happen. No one knows what's going to happen in the future. So all of this lockdown stuff that you see going on or talking about, or Joe Biden saying he wants to lock down America, it's nonsense. And you should take it as nonsense. If an individual is going to run anything, even a person that's running a company, that lockdown, he knows, corrupted his company. It almost destroyed his company. In some instances, it did destroy that company or that restaurant or that beauty shop. The lockdown is a messed up thought process. The possibilities of controlling you getting COVID is based upon you. Your hygiene, your distancing, your mask wearing. Simple things to do. But to lock down a complete nation, a community, a state, is stupidity. Because the models that they're forecasting on this or watching and praying to these models are wrong. So when I see France buckling down and forcing their individuals to lock down and completely destroy their businesses again after they have been trying to build it up during the non-lockdown period and now have to lock down again, is devastating. And it's stupid. So those of you out there in France, because I know that you're listening to me, understand this. The models that they're believing in are completely asinine stupid. And Joe Biden, you keep talking about this lockdown of America. That's the most stupidest thing I have ever heard. Because you've seen how it has failed and you want to push more failure. How stupid can that be? And you governors out there who are still under lockdown in New York and in California, you are no longer participating in America. You are so afraid of losing your political control that you don't care about the people of California or New York. It's worthless to see. And then for you to turn around and try to blame it on a president who has no control over your state, who helped you through the COVID virus, then you gave him great praises for the amount of help that he gave you, and then you want to blame him. Cuomo said all of the deaths in America are to blame to Trump. What an asinine thing to say. No one can predict the future. This is a virus, and we have to live with this virus. Then we're going to have to follow what we need to do to stay safe, but we don't have to shut down a nation. You see, Americans are really smart. And I think the people of France is really smart because they know what to do. But you can't control a virus. The virus is everywhere. It floats, it grows, it travels with people. It travels on counters. It's all over the place. So people, let's not focus on trying to devastate a nation. Let's focus on moving forward, living within the boundaries that we need to live within, but keep moving forward, keep building a nation, keep building a community, keep building a business, open up the churches, and let's get on with life. Listen, if you have any comments or questions, send me a text at 818-252-5682. Again, that's 818-252-5682. Join me on my website, which is www.lodge-co.com. Learn what I can do for you. Learn more about. And buy some of my books. I've got 2 really good books out there. Ethically Thinking, It's Not That Hard. And Daily Strategy, which is all about how we mediate our life throughout the day. And you don't even know that you're doing it. Listen, this is Mike Lodge. I'll talk with you soon. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Remember, Tuesday is the voting day for this great nation. Make a good decision. Don't vote based on hate. Don't vote based on how you hate somebody, but vote based on the achievements that they have accomplished in the direction that they want to take the country. Lockdown is not an answer. This is Mike Lodge. Talk with you soon. Bye-bye. This podcast is produced by Michael Lodge, fully focused on content. Talk with you soon. God bless.